What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Stoic Context. Today, we are going to react to another Kevin Samuels video. Before we get into it, make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm going to save my commentary for the end of the video, so stay tuned for that.
4-1. What do you got for me?
The statistics of women stating that they believe that there are a lot of marriageable men out there.
Okay.
I would be interested in knowing, are these single? What percentage of those women are single, or are they married? And think that.
What did okay. So let me ask you this question. One of the first things, let me make a statement. One of the first things that we do, especially in the Black community, is when we get a statistic or a number that comes back, we want to pick apart the study versus just accepting it for what it is. If you knew if you knew it was what percentage of single women would need to be in that study to make it, in that straw poll would make it valid for you.
I'm not saying that it's not valid. My interest is of if there were a majority of single women who are saying that there are marriageable men out there, then why is it that they're still single? Would be my question.
Say again.
If the majority of those women are currently single who are stating that there are a lot of marriageable men out there, my question would be, why are they still single? Like, what's the issue? For me,
okay. Well, hold on. I can tell you, I can look at the analytics in my channel.
Okay.
And my channel has about a 30% female. And I can see the age breakdowns and the reported statuses. I don't know. I'll check. I don't want to say that the marital status is in there, but I'll go check. But here's the thing. Even if we just say that if the YouTube numbers overlay the census numbers, 1 out of 4. So if even if 20, if you just say the majority are single, because that's the majority of Black women are single. I mean, I don't know the difference it's going to make, other than saying, well, if they're single and saying we're all married men, why aren't they married? What I read that as is women are starting to realize that maybe they have some work to do, and the issue is not necessarily always with men. How do you read it? You muted yourself. You muted yourself.
Oh, I think I unmuted. That could be a possibility. I didn't think of it that way. My issue that I think I've ran into recently dating is men don't really tell you what they're looking for in a woman.
What do you mean?
They don't really give you their expectations of what they're looking for.
Have you been married?
I have not been married.
Do you have any kids?
I do have children.
Okay. Do you want to be married?
I do. Okay.
Where are you finding the men you're referring? The men you're referring to? Where are you interacting with these men?
Well, my last relationship I've been in 2 long-term relationships, one for 10 years, one for 8. Okay. And I met both of those people through mutual friends.
Okay. But the guys you're referring to now?
The guy that I'm referring to now, I actually met on a dating website.
Okay. Well, the obvious question would be, if you were in an 8-year relationship and a 10-year relationship, why did those not progress to marriage?
I think it was more on his part. I think the man that I chose wasn't ready for a commitment in neither relationship.
Did you have children with either one of those guys?
I do not.
So the children you had were before both of those?
Correct. I was with him for 5 years.
How many kids do you have?
I have 3 children, 19, 21, and 23.
And that was from when you were younger?
Yes.
And then you had a 10 and 8-year relationship?
Yes.
So let me make a suggestion. They didn't progress to marriage because you didn't make marriage a requirement at the outset.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that's why you're not married. It was not because they weren't ready. It's because you didn't make marriage a requirement. Just like when you say men aren't being upfront with what they want, I disagree. I think it's more likely that you're just open to anybody and then tagging them saying they're not upfront.
Well,
See, I'm on dating websites too. And I'm out here too. And I will tell you that women who want to be married have no real problem should have no real problem saying, I want to be married within this time frame, and if you're not marriage minded, don't deal with me.
Right. That's the approach I've taken currently. Previously I didn't, but going
Okay,
forward.
and how's that working out for you?
Well, it's going okay so
Is it
far.
filtering out the guys who don't want to be married?
Definitely.
Well then, ma'am, D, the problem isn't the man. The problem is with you not making a requirement. See, the problem I have with what you said is it shifts accountability to men instead of you. And what we just found out is through your short experience, you didn't require a 10-year man or an 8-year man to be a husband before you gave him 10 or 8 years.
All right.
That's fine. You can do that. That's cool. No heat, no judgment. But you can't say that men don't want to get married. That's what happens far too often. That women say that about all men versus saying, I didn't make a ring the requirement before I had a long-term relationship or kids.
Right. And I think once we got into so after so many years had passed and we did talk about it, it was just like it just never happened.
Well,
And I kind of
but the thing is, but here's the thing: how you start is how you end.
Mhm.
If it was do you have a daughter?
Yes, I do.
What would you tell your daughter to do differently than you did about your 10 or 8-year relationship?
I would tell her definitely don't go into a relationship without making it known what your expectations are.
And what did your father tell you?
My father didn't tell me anything.
What did your mother tell you?
And she's not married.
There you go. So you had to live it to tell your daughter not to do what I did, because if you'd known better, you'd have done better.
Yeah.
But it's not about the men. And that's what I need people to start understanding. Ladies, stop saying that men aren't this, men aren't that. When I say women need to have an aha moment. And before you actually progress to real long-term, healthy, committed relationship or whatever kind, accountability, honesty, and admission. And far too many women just bypass accountability because society has made it so easy for women like you and women like yourself, D, to just make those statements. Men aren't upfront and this and that. We've made it so easy for you guys to make these statements without being challenged. And even when I just gave a little bit of pushback, we find that it's not necessarily true. But that affects my image as a black man. That affects every black man's overall ethnic image. That's why it's so easy to paint us as down low, shiftless, not wanting this, not wanting that, because women like yourself, who don't necessarily mean it that way, say things so flippantly, and you have sons too, right?
I do.
They're being affected by the same things that you said. So somebody with a daughter is looking at your son with what you said. And that's what we got to stop doing, in my opinion.
I agree.
All right. Appreciate it, Mom. Have a good day.
What you just heard is accountability meeting truth. This woman wasn't getting defensive. She was curious, but Kevin showed her something important. Being curious without taking responsibility gets you nowhere. So she's wondering why marriage never happened in her long relationships. She's blaming the guys for not being ready. But Kevin pointed out the real issue. She never actually made marriage a requirement. She gave them years of her time and loyalty, but she never set that standard. When you don't set standards, people don't meet them. Being together for 10 years doesn't mean moving forward. It can just mean standing still for 10 years. If you want different results, you need to demand it. Not by talking, but by setting real boundaries. Kevin wasn't attacking her. He was showing her what she avoided seeing. Her past wasn't about men who didn't want marriage. It was about her never requiring it. That's the uncomfortable part people skip over. We talk about what others didn't do for us, but we don't admit what we allowed. The world doesn't give you what you want just because. You have to say what you want up front. If marriage is your goal, say it early, mean it, and act like you mean it. Anything less is lying to yourself. Taking accountability isn't blaming yourself. It actually sets you free. Once you accept you're the reason it didn't work before, you become the reason it can work next time. That's what I wanted to break down today. If this hit different, go ahead and subscribe. Drop your thoughts below. See you next time.